Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Rico Andrade, who is the head of marketing at Celigo. Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, well, I'm delighted to learn more about your space. I think integration, of course, is so important because no silo application can really deliver all that value you want. But integration platform as a service has evolved. Can you share with us like the old versus the new technology?
Sure. So, integration has been around for a long time. From first time that people did business applications, they needed to connect the different applications together. And oftentimes that used to be very technical, resource intensive projects, as any business project used to be. And so as things evolved, we start getting into the growth of the cloud applications. And as we get more and more cloud applications out there, and all the businesses and SaaS companies and startups that exist and solve every single business problem you can imagine, now you have a new problem in terms of every one of these applications still require to communicate. They create data and they need data from other systems. And so there's been this technology called the iPaaS, which is a cloud-based integration platform to make it easier to connect and how these applications talk to each other.
And easier for the user, like a non-IT person can use it?
Yeah, so there's been a shift even in the iPaaS space.
Okay.
So the growth of SaaS really, let's say started around 2005 to 2010 is when the SaaS applications really started taking off, right, in business. And with the development of SaaS and the adoption of SaaS, the first generation of iPaaS technologies came out. And even in the development of SaaS, these applications often were still owned by IT and the operational teams who made the decision that, my company is going to adopt this ERP, my company is going to adopt this CRM. And since they own the applications, the iPaaS that developed was also built for IT and technical resources. And so they're wonderful tools, and they're very developer-centric. And so now we're in the second generation of SaaS, where basically, call it like the consumerization of business applications, where the applications that we use in the enterprise are getting easier and easier. They're much more like the everyday applications that we use at home, and they can be used anywhere. They're beautiful. They're amazing experiences. They have these wonderful interfaces, and they solve just about every single pain point that you can possibly think of in an organization, which makes it much easier for anyone, like a head of marketing, a head of sales or whatever, and their team to go and pick the applications they want to use, and they do the entire procurement and purchase implementation without any sort of IT and operational resource. And myself, like in my marketing capacity, I probably spent six figures in applications for my team without even an IT team, and we grew to over 200 employees without having an IT team.
Right. And you can do all that integration by just like click,
and so
click and drop kind of.
Yeah, in many cases, yeah, exactly. So as the line of business users own the applications, you can't. There's no IT to rely on to be able to send the sales information to accounting, or the product usage information to marketing. And so now the second generation of iPaaS has kind of followed suit. There's been the consumerization of iPaaS. So even the integration platform is much easier to use and can be used both by IT and operational teams and by the end user who, can, depending on the application, in many cases, can log into the application, pull their application from a drop-down menu, pull the other application from the drop-down menu, select what they want to connect, and they're ready to go.
So I've done that, and I didn't realize that that's the technology that you provide, so that's great.
Yeah, and so Celigo is an integration vendor, and I think it's the direction, So I think iPaaS, because of this explosion of applications, iPaaS has actually been one of, for several years, the fastest growing software segment in enterprise business space. And so we always talk about things like artificial intelligence and blockchain and IoT, and those are all great and call them sexy, but the plumbing that connects everything is also like a huge industry. And for a few years, actually, it was bigger in terms of growth than even these other categories. So it's important.
And I must say congratulations to your company for being on the Magic Quadrant for
Yes.
this category. So
Thank
that's
you.
a big achievement.
It is. It's a huge achievement. There's a lot of competition out there because it is a hot space. So to be considered by Gartner to be one of the top vendors is certainly something we're very proud of.
But you have your work cut out, right?
Yes.
Educating people about the new iPaaS technology.
Yeah, or even iPaaS in general. You know, in general, I think most people when they start a company, they're really thinking about when they think about the core stack, you know, what do they have in mind? They're probably going to adopt, you know, the infrastructure that they're going to build their application. They're probably going to get a CRM. Salesforce is probably going to be their first big purchase, right? Yeah. They're going to want to get, you know, marketing automation tool. They're going to want, you know, there's certain key applications that they're going to get. And what happens is then as you grow, you got all these individuals who are now also getting their own applications, and now and they're getting their own applications. And pretty soon, it's not uncommon for a relatively small company, you know, an A-series company or so, to be using, if you really count them, like 120 cloud applications internally. And so what we are trying to do is educate people the value of standardizing how those applications get added to the organization. You have a single platform, right? And as very early on, before systems break and you start getting into the data silos that come with all these applications, have a strategy where you have almost like a Lego set, you know, that an application gets added and you just kind of plug it into that network of business processes, you know, and then all the information and you know, you have this automation across the applications, you know, much earlier before everything breaks, you know, because at some point when you grow and you have data silos, things are going to break, and then it's much harder and expensive to deal with it. Right. And as every company of a certain size knows, that's when you start hiring the people in operations and stuff to start cleaning all these processes up.
Okay, so Rico, you are targeting the mid-market company, a lot of the IT folks,
Correct.
IT operations folks. How are you planning to get their attention and educate them about the iPaaS, the modern iPaaS?
Yeah, great question. So there's multiple ways. So one of them is we do offer a free edition. So essentially any user, not just IT, but maybe a line of business user has a particular pain point that they want to automate. But they can log into the application and they can essentially create their first integration on us.
Okay.
And then, you know, if they want to at least test out use cases or things like that, you know, to see if it makes sense to do a larger integration investment, the tool is available, the platform is available to them. And so that's something that's actually very unusual in the iPaaS space. Secondly, you know, our strategy really relies on, is anchored in a sense on pre-built integrations, in particular what we call integration apps, which is something that's very unique to Celigo, where we actually pre-build the integration.
The common ones, like NetSuite to Shopify?
NetSuite Shopify is one of our most popular ones.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot on the NetSuite ecosystem that is very popular, but you could say some other ones, Salesforce to OpenAir. What that allows, in a sense, it's bundled. You know, we built these integrations in the platform. It's bundled as a SaaS app, but it's built on the iPaaS, so it's fully customizable. And, you know, and there's other flavors of these pre-built integrations, but we make them available in an integration marketplace.
Okay.
And so...
Can other people build this and then
absolutely.
sell it? Right?
Yeah, so we actually have companies who are developing their own integrations on our
your
platform.
platform?
Yes.
Okay.
So Nova Module, for example, is a company who has built a business taking their subject matter expertise in essentially logistics and fulfillment and ERP, and they're often hired to do those integrations. And so since you built that subject matter, you know, understanding of how to build these two integrations together, they essentially have productized by bundling all that IP into our integration apps that then they can sell, which they sell, and they get a subscription revenue. So in a sense, they're getting now a services company who has been able to build a product with recurring revenue without necessarily needing to do the traditional path of, you know, needing to go develop and, you know, get the funding and, building these and then sending it out. You know, they're leveraging what they already know as an additional source of revenue.
Okay, well, what's exciting ahead for you then?
Well, we just had our big Series B funding announcement
Congratulations,
last
right?
week. Yes,
20
very
million?
exciting. 20 million funding announcement led by New Spring Capital and involving our existing investors as well, TVC and Blossom Street Ventures. So we're very excited about that. And it certainly allows us to spend even more time in terms of our vision to make integration as something that's as easy as possible for both NT and the business users to do together. And so we're certainly spending a lot on new technologies for the product. We're spending a lot with our global expansion, with our teams in Europe and elsewhere. And we're spending a lot on our own customer experience, because
Excellent.
ultimately that's what's most important
That's
for any
right.
company.
You want referrals, you want those credibilities.
Yeah, well, our customer community is absolutely the best. We love them, and we want to treat them as well as possible.
Well, thank you for being on the show and
Thank
sharing
you.
more about the iPass industry and your company doing well. For those who have not heard of Celigo, give it a try because it's free. That's a free edition.
Yeah, log in, celigo.com, get started for free, try connecting a couple applications together, and we'll help you out.
Excellent. There you have it, folks. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Rico Andrade from Celigo.